Hey y'all, Nikki here with Pivot Seekers Online, 3Ps Training and Coaching Solutions. And this is this week's blog recap. Last week we had a blog, we were talking about life management, also self management. And this week it was just a blog sharing some tips on effective self management. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right. First, thank you so much for tuning back in. I hope that these blog recaps are helpful to go back and take what was put into the blog post and, in a sort of a way, I want to say teach, but I don't think it's so much as teaching as it is just having a conversation about what was written in the blog post and how it could be applied to your life and your journey. So, hopefully, that is somewhat helpful for you, if not a whole lot. Please let me know if there is something that you would like to see added to these blog recaps, and we can see how we can make it more helpful for everyone. All right. So, last week, quick reminder that the most beneficial and difficult lessons to learn in life involve the management of ourselves. If you go back and you check out that, I'll make sure that I put in the comments the link, or I believe it'll be on the end of this video. I'll make sure that that's the particular video that you can click on to go next for the previous post that we had about life and self-management. I think that deals more with the mindset of it. As of this is more of your checklist or your to-do list of how to actually apply this to your life, where this can get started. Okay. So self-management is an essential skill that helps you to organize your life and achieve your goals. It sounds very simplistic when you think about it and you say it in that way, but I promise you, it is not an easy thing to do. Any form of management is not easy. If you've ever been a manager in a professional capacity, you understand that management is not easy. People are not easy. And not only are people not easy, we are not easy to ourselves. So, management is in no ways simple. So, if this sounds simplistic, we're breaking it down to the most simplest place. However, I want you to understand that I understand that it's easier said than done. And that this is a journey that we're all going to be on. But my hope is just to get you on the journey and to be serious about it so that it becomes a part of your everyday life. So, self management. You can improve your productivity, reduce stress, and increase your overall happiness, inner peace, and success. I like to throw the inner peace in there because happiness is subjective, it is fleeting, it is based off how we feel, and emotions are fickle. I said it, and we're not just talking about someone like myself who has had to learn to manage depression and anxiety. I'm talking about you're just your regular person that does not have any type of chemical imbalances or issues with mental health, in a more specific manner, having fickle emotions. Happiness comes and goes. Sometimes you cannot feel happy about a situation that you were happy about yesterday and nothing changed. Happiness is fickle, just like our feelings. So I like to throw inner peace in there because even when you're not happy or feeling happy, you can still have peace about where you are and where you're going. And I believe that management, self management in particular, helps with that. All right. So, moving on. So, the point of this post, again, I said, is tips for self management, best tips for self management. So, I'm going to go through some of those here on the video. You will have to go and check out the blog if you want to get the whole list of them. All right. So, starting with setting clear goals, goals help you focus your efforts and keep you motivated. So many aspects of personal development and growth. I swear, the more you study it, the more you realize that we're all saying the same thing in different ways. And that's true because it all starts within, and there are only so many um, concepts to be applied in order to get to know yourself. Really, it is just sitting down and making a determination to become self aware, and you can't really become aware of others beyond the surface without first becoming aware of yourself beyond the surface. So we'll just put it there. So goals help you to focus your efforts and keep you motivated. You want to put those into place. Of course, SMART. If you had any type of interaction in academia or professional you would have heard of specific goals, measurable goals, attainable goals, relevant goals, and time bound goals, SMART goals that helps you to set goals and priorities. So you definitely want to consider that in your management because you got to know why you're managing. What are you trying to get to? What are you trying to accomplish? Obviously, if this is an ongoing thing, you're trying to accomplish that over and over and over, right? Like weight maintenance, you know, um, making a certain amount of money a year or uh, serving a certain group of people for a certain amount of time or remaining committed to certain relationships and opportunities. All of that can be a part of your decision to make goals. Prioritizing can help you avoid procrastination and stay on track. Prioritizing your tasks is based on their importance and urgency, but that importance and urgency can change, right? What was important last week may not be as important as what's important this week. It doesn't make it any less important. There just may be a different sense of urgency. So, staying in tune with your priorities as they shift with the ebbs and flows of life, that is something that also requires a level of self awareness and self management. And knowing your core values can expedite the priority assigning process. Core values is super important to me. I may have talked about this before. And when I am opening up to do workshops and small coaching groups and one on one coaching, core values exercises will always be a part of that because I truly firmly believe that they can expedite your process to understanding what's most important to you and how you should be spending your time and your energy specifically to what's most important, right? If you don't know what that is, you're just pulling from the sky and you're just throwing something at the wall to see if it sticks. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to consider that going through that process and understanding that there are certain things the way you are wired based off your experiences and where you're going in life that will be more important and a more of a priority to you than to me. For instance, one of my top core values is freedom, faith, family, freedom, right? Freedom may not be that important to you. So something like entrepreneurship might not be something that's a priority to you. That doesn't make me better than you. That doesn't make anyone better than anyone. That just means this is important to me. What is important to you? All right. Time management. Either it is worth your time spent or it is not. We've said this before. Does it serve you right now? That's the main thing you want to think about. What am I spending my time on? Because I can't get it back. We've talked about this already. Creating a routine, because consistency is key to long-term success. No, it's called creating habits. Once you've done it for a certain amount of time, it becomes a habit. I had to do this with prayer, with meditation, practicing mindfulness. I've had to do this with my physical health because all of us are going to say, I don't have time to work out. I definitely don't have time to break it up into 2 sessions or whatever, right? However, when it becomes a priority and you find how it fits into who you are and where you want to go, your core values, you'll find the time. I assure you. So, developing a routine helps you to prioritize those areas where you know you need to invest your time. You want to train and hack yourself to remain disciplined, and this is through practicing self discipline. Um, Being open to mindfulness is a part of this because you want to understand what you're thinking and how it is affecting where you're going. That way, you can position yourself to resist what seeks to throw you off course from where you're trying to get to in the next point, right? To make it more simplistic, it would be something as simple as eating a whole pizza. When you know that you've already had your take, most of your take on calories for the day and fat, and you really don't need to be eating a whole pizza. Like, how does that serve you in your next point in life? It doesn't. So, something like that, right? But this also includes something like self hacking to minimize your own self destructive behaviors. Like, for instance, for myself, I stopped drinking alcohol because I knew that having bottles of wine in the house meant that I was going to drink them until they were gone. So, what did I start doing? When I want wine, either I go out and have a glass publicly, or I buy a can because I love me some Black Girl Magic. bubbly rosé. I'll get a can, and that's my serving. That's it. Because if I buy a bottle or two, I know I'm going to feel obligated in a destructive manner to finish them as soon as possible. I know myself. I think I wrote about this. I stopped. It was helpful for me to remain plant based because I understood that anytime I could run through a drive through at any time to get anything I want, I was going to do it. So creating that barrier of limitations of what was available to me running through those drive-throughs was another way of setting boundaries for myself to help myself to be more disciplined. So hopefully that's helpful to you. That doesn't mean that your examples are mine. I'm just explaining to you some ways that I've been able to apply this to my own life to help me move forward. I hope it's helpful to you. So there are some more tips. If you go to the blog and check it out at www.pivotseekers.com/blog, and you're going to look for our newest blog, Tips for Self-Management. Feel free to go back because a lot of these build on top of each other. This is all interconnected in some way. But go and check out the rest of these tips that we have on here. Of course, they can be nothing but helpful in helping you to create some form of control in your own life. I just heard in church service today a quote from Pastor Ty Trebet at Live Church. He said, self-control brings freedom. I wanted to make sure I said it right because I was just thinking, I'm feeling it right now. Self-control brings freedom. And that's true. When you have the confidence that you're doing everything that you can to manage what you can manage, and you are doing that in a way that is pleasing to God, that's freedom. That's freedom to move. That's freedom to create. That's freedom to share with others. There's nothing to hide in that, right? There's no room for darkness in that. Only light. So consider that. And what I would say to you is that you will always need strategy and support. We all will. We were not created to be one woman villages. We need each other. And God had to teach me that, pound that into my head for many years. I'm going to say decades, because I'm just getting to the point where I'm allowing people in to my village, and I'm creating a team in a village that are helping to make me become who I was called to be. And we all have to do that. We all have to do it. Back in the day, in earlier years of the coaching space coming about, you always heard people talking about finding your tribe. And as corny as it may sound, it's true. So I encourage you to consider all of these things as you go about your weekend and into your next week and into the summer and the rest of this year. If you apply these areas to your life and you focus on self-management, I promise you life will not look the same when you're ready to shift into 2024. That's my hope for you and for me. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next week.